Hey guys, how you doing? It's Deepak here from my ethnic dating channel. So I wanted to respond to this question that I've got asked by Liam. He's asked really quite an excellent question, and I thought it deserved me creating a video for it. So I'll read through parts of it. Okay. So the biggest challenge, Liam says, is a combination of different things, right? So first of all, he goes into meeting a new girl with, or never with the expectation that he'll have a relationship with her. As he says, he'll never just go in and say, "Oh my God, I want to try my luck," and he really prefers to get to know somebody first, right? And I think that first of all, Liam, I'd say that's an absolutely awesome thing, and it's completely natural to want to get to know somebody over a period of time and then to allow feelings to almost develop by themselves. Definitely, it's something that really is a sensible and smart way of actually approaching a relationship. Now, the problem, of course, that you can have with that is the framing that it gives, of course, your relationship with, said girl. Let's call her Angela, okay? So you're talking to Angela, you become friends perhaps with Angela, and as you said, since you haven't expressed any interest in her initially, you found that you've been put into that friend zone, right? And because of that, you've not been on a date before. So this process is something that's definitely very safe to follow. It makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, how can you fail if you don't put yourself out there? And in allowing to just become friends with, Angela, it means that you can't fail and you perhaps always succeed, in that you walk away thinking, wow, I had a great conversation with Angela. Now, the difficulty of that, of course, sometimes is that over time, you don't feel that you've necessarily, developed that other edge to the relationship, right? So the edge is, making perhaps that transition from looking at Angela, or making Angela look at you as more than a friend, as someone who could become more than a friend. Because this is the frame. This is the window, the glass door, or the telescope, or the microscope through which that she looks at you through. And it's a really safe space, and it's something that, as you said, can over time really, turn into something that results in a lack of rather confidence, but equally, as you said, Liam, more of a frustration with not knowing how to try and get someone who you develop friends for, develop feelings for, to return those feelings. And I know what you mean when you say that, you have faith that, it will work out, but at the same time, it can get frustrating, especially when, you're in college. I remember I'm going to assume that you're American, Liam, or certainly not English. Well, you might be in college in the UK, but I'm assuming you're something between 18 to 22, and when you're at college, it really, feels like you're perhaps missing out, right? Because you want to be, moving from that friendship space to dating, and the big question then is, how is it that you reframe? How is it that you make that transition from being, a friend to perhaps or potentially being a boyfriend? Now remember, I spoke about this concept of the frame. Literally, think of it as a physical frame, right? You've got the frame of this YouTube video. You've got the frame of me in the bottom right-hand corner, and this gives you perspective, right? So the perspective through which you see this frame is that this is on perhaps YouTube. So that means it's popular consumption and it's educational consumption that's free for everybody. And the frame of me in the corner makes it feel like it's much more of an instructional video, and that I'm going to be teaching something. Now, imagine this frame of YouTube was switched, for example, with Vimeo, okay? Imagine that this frame in the corner was switched with me perhaps wearing a baseball hat, okay? That would lead to something called a reframe. So what happens with something like that is that by changing the context, you also have an impact upon the content of the things that you say. So this really literally means, when you think about, Angela and your feelings for Angela, is that you can start to change some of the context of your relationship, to start changing the content of the actual, relationship itself, so it can have the opportunity to move from friend to girlfriend, from friend to boyfriend in Angela's case. And how is it that you practically can make that happen, right? That's probably the question that you're asking, Liam. How is it that you can go from friend to Angela seeing you as a boyfriend, and or potentially seeing you as a boyfriend? It's really, really a challenging thing. And the implication with what I'm saying is not that you should go about a personality change, okay? Not that you should go about a personality change. With something like this, there's a couple of things that do definitely need to happen. Now, to give the opportunity of a reframe, one of the things that becomes really important is, imagine suddenly switching from you watching this on YouTube to you watching it on a members only website, let's say. It's the same content, but the context has switched too quickly. What we need is a little bit of time and a little bit of distance to then allow you to move in a completely different manner. Because what this distance gives is, psychologically, in Angela's mind, in absence of you being around, it leads her to thinking something has changed. Because she's not seen you. She's not heard from you. You're not spoken with the same regularity as you typically do. And as they say, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Absence implies literally a change, so that when that change comes about, it's less of an actual shock and more of a gentle surprise. That's the first thing, okay? A little bit of distance can really help foster or engender the actual environment, right? The environment for change. That's the first thing. The second thing is an actual shift, right? So that is the pattern shift that you need to make, because you need to literally let her see you as someone who could become more than a friend. So how is it that you do that? And initially, you need to, I welcome you to think about, well, how is it that you are when you do like somebody, right? How is it that you are when you like somebody? And now I know that you said that you've never been on a date before, Liam, and I totally understand that can be scary, okay? So the thing that you could do with the pattern change is to live out that scared feeling in the safety of your own home. Look in front of the mirror, okay? Literally, look at yourself, right? I'm looking at myself right now. I'm looking at you right now. I want you to look at yourself and really just practice talking out loud in the mirror, and your heart's probably going to, you're going to get a bit nervous, you're going to get a bit, frustrated or a bit scared, you're going to make mistakes, and I want you to just practice the art of saying, hey, Angela, I don't know how to tell you this, but, I really am actually attracted to you, and I felt nervous about telling you because I didn't want the relationship to change. Now, go through that experience of practicing those words, okay? Practice the pattern change. This is the same thing that we do, for example, in any area of life, right? It doesn't just relate to relationships, it relates to sales. It relates to any level of kind of persuasion or reframing, because what is most important is not necessarily the words that come from your mouth in those moments, but really practicing the role play involved in those situations, because then you'll get used to the flutter of your heart. You'll then get used to kind of the nervousness, right? And listen, I totally understand when I got together with my partner, Daniela, the first place that I told her, that I was attracted to her, and we still laugh about this, was on Gmail chat. Right, you can see Gmail right now in front of the screen. It was, on a Hangouts chat. So I totally understand that it's something that's scary for you. And the biggest thing that you could do in those situations is really just getting into that level of role play and really just practicing and allowing yourself to kind of make mistakes in the safety of your own home. So allow the distance, practice some of these pattern interrupts, get involved in some of that role play, and really just get on that road and start that process of trying, because it doesn't matter. And I know it's scary. It doesn't matter if it doesn't go to plan, because things rarely do. But if you don't take that action, you'll never ever know what's on the other side. And what will surprise you is that when you do approach with sincerity, but with confidence, confidence in what you say, in how you feel, and therefore what you say to Angela, I definitely think that you'll be met with a little bit of success. So if that helps, this is me, Deepak Shukla. Please do keep subscribed to this YouTube channel. Thank you so much.